Next up we have another short arcade game with thunder in the title, it's Thunder Cross. This is another game I'd never heard of until I downloaded the Konami Arcade Classics Anniversary Collection. Far in the future, as the Blue Thunder M45, I have to defend the planet Hamiamu 4 from the military force Black Impulse. There's also the Red Thunder M24, but that's for the second player, so it won't be making an appearance. The first stage takes place in a ruined city. I start with two options hanging beside me and just some plain blue orbs firing small bullets, followed by large orange ones that drop a power up that turns my bullets into missiles. They wipe out with a new enemy that moves in a large wavy pattern and result in me gaining a third option. I approach a building with two moving turrets going up and down it, and taking them both out blows a hole in the building for me to pass through. There's more turrets in here, but they don't last with my current setup. Then on the way out I gain a fourth option. A large ship approaches me from behind, so I use a few of my bombs, the little baby, on it. As I pass underneath, it spits out a few missiles, but I avoid them before I destroy it. However, a new large orb passed by and snuck a shot in, killing me and losing all my power-ups. I next have to face three of the large ships at once, one coming in from behind and the other two from the front. The remains of some buildings now appear in the foreground to reduce the amount of space I have while I deal with these huge rockets. I end up dying again when I just barely fail to destroy the last one on time. I get these new ships about my size that fire a single bullet each and one gets me, but I have unlimited continues so it's fine. It's around here I face a sort of mini-boss. I really wish I knew the names of these things. It shoots from 3 spots at once but can only be damaged in the middle. I take it out and get a lot of the same enemies again, just more. But then a massive ship taking up most of the screen appears. This is the first boss. It's got 7 guns on it, but I wipe those out in no time with my bombs, leading to the front section breaking off from the main ship. For this next one I take out the 2 guns at the front quickly. Can't do anything about that spread shot it has though. I just keep shooting its core though, and soon enough it goes down. That's stage 1 finished and I stop to refuel. For stage 2 I'm not sure where I am. I can assume that's the last stage city in the background, but then why is there green clouds both above and below me? Anyway, I get these new spinning ships that after trying to shoot me will turn and go back the way they came. There's also cannons on the ground. They were in the first stage but I didn't have the chance to point them out with everything else going on. Around this point rocks take up the top and bottom of the screen to close me in and give me less space. As it widens again there's this pipe or vent thing spewing out 2 kinds of enemy at once. And even manages to sneak a shot in that I had to go back and watch again to work out what even happened. I failed to destroy the pipe, but now I have huge boulders flying in faster than anything else so far. I pick up the missiles again just before they speed up and become more frequent. I just barely make it past the last lot. At the same time I get ships coming in from the background and getting shot before they can do anything. Followed by 2 pipes at once stopping me from getting close to this triple cannon on the ground. More of them show up, but it's still tough to get them while avoiding everything. After a bit there's a new ship coming from the background firing 3 shots at once, but it doesn't take long to destroy. I did a better job killing myself than it when I rammed myself into the ceiling. The rocks are now slightly resembling volcanoes and some are spewing blue fireballs, but I can still shoot them. Past that there's now double stacked pipes taking up more space and sending out even more enemies at once. What follows is a load of returning stuff until I reach the boss, this domed thing moving along the ground that opens up and exposes its core to send smaller ships at me. After enough damage it breaks off from its base and starts to fly around. It gains some sort of tail that moves around to make it harder for me to aim at the core, but I had some leftover bombs so it doesn't take that many shots to bring down. For stage 3 I am now above the clouds at sunset. To start with I get sandwiched between 2 parts of a large ship and have to face its cannons with such little space. It's also sending smaller ships out to block my shots and attach themselves to the main ship. It's not long before it backs up and opens up a bit though, and it closes tight and opens again. I end up back inside and ships that look to be just part of a large one break off to try kill me. And all the while it's constantly opening and closing. I can use the spots where the smaller ships used to be to avoid getting crushed, but then it moves back again and I have to deal with smaller enemies again until it closes in. It sends loads of another new ship at me that don't shoot while moving, they just try to ram me. This time I'm finally close enough for my shots to hit the ship's core. It doesn't take long to bring down. That was my favourite level so far, just the setting of the moving ship and the way it kept closing made it more tense than either of the first 2 levels. Stage 4 and once again I'm not sure where we are. We're either in space and surrounded on both ends by ships, or I'm inside a ship and that background is what it looks like inside. A lot of returning enemies and what I think is debris just slowly floating across the screen. It can't be destroyed and I start getting enemies shielding themselves behind some. There's some big eye-like things that when destroyed break into 3 pieces of shrapnel I have to avoid. After this the invincible debris starts getting bigger and cannons start attaching themselves to them, but right now my biggest obstacle is still the shrapnel. kill too many at once and you make it harder for yourself to avoid it, especially when the huge ships at the bottom and top come further in and give me less space to avoid them. Next new enemy is a triple missile launcher, and as I'm manoeuvring past even more obstacles, flying saucers are added to the mix as well. Further on some more of the next new enemies are basically giant blowtorches. They are tough to deal with since they have great range and a lot of health. I end up dying a lot here as they place so many pairs opposite each other and I can only take one out, which still didn't leave me much space to get past the other. When I do get past them, the boss appears. This time it's another big ship but with extendable arms. It shoots from its core, but also the arms shoot many bullets from the claws every time they extend out. I have to shoot in the middle or use my replenished on-death bombs to bring it down. That one was fine, but the blowtorch section did annoy me a bit. Stage 5 has me inside a volcano. More returning stuff as usual, but now I get this little hopping cannon walking along the ground, and then comes the molten fireballs aiming right at me. Even the volcano is working for this army. Once I exit the cave, I get two of the larger ships coming in from the background, and then the terrain suddenly turns green as I've got to fly through cramped tunnels. There are rocks that rise up to create walls and I have to shoot them to lower them. Gotta be quick though because they'll come right back up. But at least at this point I'm able to take out the enemy spewing pipes with little trouble. I get one more big maze with loads of those walls before I'm back out. Thing is, I died and lost my missiles and now have to deal with billions of fireballs. It's a long stretch of them followed by some normal enemies, and I'm at the boss. It's a big octagonal ship with fire coming out all ends that generates the fireballs from before, and fire strings of slightly different looking fireballs. He very easily pins me in the corner and kills me, but I get back with bombs to finish it. I'm sure if an expert shoot 'em ups watched this, they'd have a meltdown at how shit I am. Stage 6, and we're definitely inside some kind of ship here. Right away I have a new enemy that shoots long laser beams in a straight line. There's also these big walking mechs that fire 4 homing missiles at once if I don't take them out quick enough. This level is also laid out a bit like a maze, with loads of walls everywhere for me to navigate. I die a lot here, especially with this mushroom robot that refuses to die and keeps jumping into me. And after I get 4 or 5 mechs at once followed by the narrowest tunnel in the game, I get these little spinning things piling in. I leave and I'm free from walls, but get rows of ships with drills coming in from behind. If you don't take them out before they reach the other end of the screen, they'll turn around. Then it's into more walls with these huge things taking up entire gaps I need to pass through, throwing missiles everywhere. Once I'm past them, there's a load of floating falls with mechs everywhere. Through even more maze, and my next new enemy is a spinning thing firing bouncy bullets through the tunnels. These bullets can take my own shots, making it harder for me to hit the ships. The boss shows up after this, a giant spiked ball that splits open 4 ways to fire a stream of missiles at me. It can only be damaged by hitting its centre when it opens up. After enough hits, the 2 front sections are destroyed and it responds by firing a load of lasers everywhere. It also still fires missiles too. Getting killed refills my bombs and I take it down. So now the 7th and final stage, where we're entering the Black Impulse's main ship. After a few waves of old enemies, the first new ones are these flying mech suits. They're pretty slow so they're easy to deal with. A minute or so of these and I'm heading deeper into the ship. As I try to avoid smashing into the scenery, a new jumping enemy starts coming in from behind. After a while we get the first instance in the game of the screen moving any way other than right as it moves down a bit. But it starts moving right again and we can add missiles hopping on springs to the enemy list. Then it's down once more and right again, passing over what looks like the leg of a giant AT-AT. What follows is a stretch moving up before squeezing through the tiniest of gaps. Through it I can finally confront the final boss, a gigantic red mech that's as tall as the screen. It shoots lasers out of its eyes, missiles from its chest, a spread shot that, if the orbs are shot, explode into loads of bullets that scatter everywhere, and then there's a spread of purple orbs that can't be destroyed. It's only damaged when shot in the torso when it opens. This boss is also the first time in the game that the amount of bullets on screen can cause slowdown. Just to be fair to the game, I decided not to use any of my bombs, and I think I did well for a first try. I didn't die that much before I brought it down and finished the game. I get an ending text scroll saying that the Black Impulse were defeated and their plans to conquer the galaxy ruined. The threat to mankind had been averted, and then we get the credits. I liked Thundercross. So far it's my favourite shmup of the, 3 or 4 I've covered so far? But it just slightly edged out Prehistoric Isle. It just barely was more fun to me and didn't have any slight annoyances like Eco Fighters had. I think I just haven't played a shmup that I've fallen in love with yet, but this was still good and one day I'd like to check out its sequel.